Have you ever had that experience where you walk into a shop, somebody knows you, and they say, "Oh, you've lost weight," right? And it feels so amazing, like they can see that you've lost weight. But when you regain weight, you're thinking all the time, "Well, if they could see I'd lost it, they can see I've regained it." Regain is so embarrassing in some ways. We feel like our mistakes or failures, as we characterize them, are written all over us. And that's why today you're joining me, Laura Lloyd, eating psychology coach, to talk about this thing that we never really discuss in the weight loss world, which is regain. It's happened to us all, right? You do a diet, you regain the weight afterwards. That's the part we don't talk about. But it's the same in my methods, non-diet methods. We use habit change and find the ways that work for you to lose the weight. But I lost weight with habit change, so I know it's possible. But I also have regained after diet and after habit change. And that's because even with habits, you've still got like 30 years of overeating habits, which was so well ingrained in our habit brain, in our psyche. It's like driving to work. You don't even have to think about which way to go and what you're doing. It's like in your muscle memory. So is overeating. And so when we work together, we apply all of our attention and awareness to the thoughts and feelings behind your eating habits, and we change those habits one at a time. But those habits are really delicate little green shoots by comparison to these hulking trunks of lifelong habits. Now, that doesn't mean these new shoots can't continue to be nurtured. It's just that when we revert to our old habits, which is usually when something emotional has happened or when our routine has become completely disrupted, then there's nothing unusual about that. Nothing has gone wrong. Your brain is just doing what it's built to do, which is shortcut. Make life easy for you. If you have a death in the family, your brain's like, oh, let's make life easy. Let's not worry about the new habits now. Let's go back to the overeating. You know, you have a work deadline. Let's go back to the overeating. The difference, though, between losing weight through dieting and losing weight through habit change isn't that one is a fail-safe method to never regain the weight again. The difference is that with habit change, you're actually doing the things that you want to keep doing for the rest of your life. Whereas with dieting, you're doing something that's like a pocket of time, that's like something different to make a difference, and then hoping that it will be sustainable or that something will have changed in your eating, in your relationship with yourself afterwards, which usually we find it hasn't really, beyond getting that initial confidence boost of, as I say, the cashier in the shop noticing that you've lost weight and saying, hey, what did you do? That couple of weeks of outside affirmation is what carry us through the whole idea. But actually, when we're working with habit change, you've got two advantages. One, you're doing the things that you would like to do for the rest of your life as you go along, patiently building the habits you would like to have and the relationship with food you'd like to have. And number two, when you regain, you can just go back and learn another round. You can learn some more about your thoughts, and I'm still learning as an eating psychology coach, I'm still learning. My brain has still come up with some new convincing excuses and justifications to get me to keep overeating, and I'm still working with all of that. My impulse is still emotionally avoidant, and my brain will still take me to food as the first solution when I'm having feelings that I don't want. Now, that's not to say that's not happening less. For sure, that's happening less. And for sure, I'm more adept at going, oh, whoops, I've gone to food. Wait a minute. food can't solve anything but hunger. What am I trying to solve here? So I'm better at course correcting than ever before. And that's what I feel about my regain. I'm not giving up my food psychology journey just because I regained some weight. No way. In many ways, this weight is here to teach me a whole bunch of other stuff that I didn't learn the first time around. I mean, let's face it, when I lost my weight through habit change the first time, I didn't have to eat perfectly by any stretch. I just stopped doing things like hoovering up all the leftovers from the kids' meals and saying yes every time there was a random offer of something in the office. I just was more intentional about how I ate. But I don't think the first time around, I really went deep and disentangled my emotional relationship with food in the way that I am this time around. So this weight is here to teach me something I missed in my first part of my journey. So I can just continue my eating psychology journey from this point of regain. The problem is, though, for many of us, that weight regain is really demoralizing. We have so much shame and embarrassment about it. And more than anything else, we think we failed when we regain weight. Chickpea, you haven't failed. You've just reverted. So, isn't this an opportunity to gather yourself, be really loving to yourself, and figure out which bit you missed on the way down? Join me for my podcast episode on regain, because we are going to talk about exactly how to scrape yourself out of that pit of shame around regain and re-find your motivation to keep going, to keep discovering, to keep being curious and not sink into a pit of judgment of yourself and a pit of despair about the tools that you're using to get you there. Whatever your regain is caused by, whether it's a diet that you couldn't sustain, or whether you could maintain your weight loss for a while and then life got in the way, or whether you've already tried some habit change and it's only got you so far, this episode is going to be for you. There's a link in the show notes where you can follow Hi Food I'm Home podcast on Apple. Make sure that you're hooked up, you're following it. It's also on Spotify. And you will be notified when that episode drops. And if you like that episode, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts. Take care. Bye-bye.